this episode of Neighbors Cooking. I'm your chef and host, Mitch, the Recipe King. You know, I got that title, the Recipe King, at my gym, actually. My trainer at Penne 42, Jason, always called me the Recipe King because they would put up these healthy recipes on the website for all of us to enjoy, and I would go in, deconstruct them and reconstruct them and post my own versions of those recipes. So they started calling me the Recipe King. So it kind of stuck, so it's my nickname, and that's why I use it. Not necessarily because I am the greatest recipe king, but who knows. Anyways, today we're going to be cooking an amazing meal coming in at just under 600 calories. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. We're making a nice, creamy, creme fraiche, lemony pasta with chicken and red peppers and mushrooms. So we're going to go over the ingredient list with you as we get started. Don't worry if you don't get all the ingredients right now, because you'll have a minute when we take a break and go into our next segment. But as always, I try to do all of my prep in advance. So here's what we're using for this recipe. We're going to use a cup to a cup and a half of zucchini that you've cut and in half. Just get your regular green zucchini. You can also use yellow squash or really any vegetable that you like. You could use broccoli, anything like that. We're going to use 4 ounces of cremini mushrooms. You're going to cut them about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch thick so you get some depth in them. We're also going to use some chives that you've cut up. We're going to take a lemon and cut it into 4 slices. We're going to take the juice out of 2 of those, and we're going to zest it, so we have some zest for the finishing at the back side. We're going to have about 6 ounces of penne pasta. Now, this dish I'm making is good for 2 or 3 people. You might be able to stretch it out to 4 if you add some more pasta in the bowl. We're going to have a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, some reduced chicken stock, and you can either make this yourself or you can purchase it at any of the stores like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, places like that. We're also going to use some creme fraiche, 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Make sure you get good Parmesan cheese. Don't buy, the dollar Parmesan cheese. Get some good cheese because it's got lots of flavor. We're going to have 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of butter, salt and pepper to taste, some red peppers that we've roasted ourselves. And remember last week's episode, I talked about roasting peppers. All you have to do is stick a fork in it, get your creme brulee torch out, make that outside nice and black, put it into a paper bag and let it sweat. When you take them out of the bag, all that outside skin's going to come off, and it leaves you with these wonderful, nice, tender pieces that you can put in almost any dish that you're cooking. You can do this with yellow peppers, green peppers, red peppers. Just cover them up in olive oil, put them in your refrigerator, and they'll last you forever. That's about all the things we're going to put into our recipe. When we come back in the next segment, we're going to put it all together, and I'm going to be introducing a really special guest chef with me tonight, coming right here from the desert, and she's an amazing, amazing young lady, so I think you'll enjoy meeting her also. So don't forget, we'll put the recipe up on the side here for you. There'll be a link to the bottom, and we'll be right back in the next segment to pull all of this together. We'll see you in just a minute. Welcome back. I'm Mitch, your host and chef, and I've got a really special guest to bring in today. I'm going to bring Emma in and introduce you to Emma and some of her favorite foods. Emma, come on in. Why don't you get up here so everybody can see you? What's your name?
Emma Yenny.
Emma, M-I-N-E. All right, and how old are you?
5.
5 years old. Do you like cooking?
Yes.
You do? What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is pasta, spaghetti, shrimp, oyster, and I like bell peppers and tomatoes.
So pretty much all the stuff we're cooking with tonight.
Yeah, and also...
How lucky is that? So Emma's going to help us with cooking. So when you're cooking in your home, you ought to bring your kids and your family into the kitchen. It makes for great memories. Food generates so many happy memories for us through thought, through sight, through hearing, through taste. And so it's important to bring your kids in. If you go onto my website, neighborscooking.net, you'll find a list there that I wrote about the different activities kids can do in the kitchen and the safety factors behind it. You always want to make sure they're safe. Give them a little apron, and your apron is so cute. Where'd you get that? Your mama?
Yeah.
That was nice of her. So kids can do different things in the kitchen, and why you want to bring them in is because it gives great life skills. They can learn to cook. They can cook when they get into college. They're not always coming home to moms, even though I know mom wants them to come home, but they learn to cook. So we're going to do some cooking here, all right, Emma? So the first thing we're going to do is heat up some olive oil in a pan, medium heat, and if you've got your kids in the kitchen, push all of your cooking to the back of the stove so you don't have any handles hanging out. and nothing can fall or hurt them, all right? So we always want to be safe. So the first thing we're going to add is zucchini. Can you hand me the zucchini? All right, so this is our zucchini. We have 1 or 2 slices. We're going to put it into a nice hot pan. I'm going to put that over right there for me. All right. We're going to add some salt on top of the zucchini. And we're going to let that start to brown up. It won't take very long, a minute or two. Can I get past right here real quick? I'm just going to get a little spatula. All right, there we go. And we're just going to stir these. While those are stirring, you want to get your water going for your pasta. So you're going to get a large pot of water boiling and put a little bit of salt in that and a little bit of olive oil, and that way your pasta won't stick. All right, and we're going to start getting these zucchinis really going. You want to get a little bit of a brown on the zucchinis. Don't overcook them because you don't want them to get too tender or too moist, because you want some crispiness that you're making. So we've got those cooking. We've got a little bit of brown on them. We're going to transfer them out of the pot, and then we're going to add just a dash more olive oil, and then we're going to add the mushrooms. Can you hand me the mushrooms, Emma? There we go, thank you. So we're going to put the mushrooms in.
And some salt.
We're going to put some salt, thank you. A little bit of salt. And
we're going to mix it.
We're going to mix that, whoops. There's always something that spills in the kitchen, isn't there? That's okay. We'll get you to clean the kitchen when we're done. How about that? No, don't like that idea. All right. So we're cooking these mushrooms up on a high heat. And we're going to let those go ahead and start to cook. While those are cooking, we've got some boiling water here. We're going to take our penne pasta, see, which is this hard little pasta.
Mitch,
Huh?
will the mushrooms not cook too long, just like the zucchini?
No, we're going to let those cook a few extra minutes and get a little bit brown, okay?
Okay, is that pasta?
This is the pasta. See? And we're going to put this, whoops, that's okay. We're going to put it into the pot of boiling water. And we're going to let that start to cook. All right. Our mushrooms are doing very nicely while those are cooking. We're going to add in some of the peppers. So can you hand me the peppers?
These peppers?
Those peppers.
They're a little heavy.
They're a little heavy. We're going to add those into our little mix here. And let those start to cook in. All right. And then the next thing we're going to add is some of our chives. All right? You want to use about half of your chives and save the other half for when you serve. So we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle those in, just like that.
And then you're going to mix it.
And then I'm going to mix it. There you go. You ought to be doing my job instead of me. You might be a better chef. You think so? Looks like I have some competition. All right, what are we going to add next, Emma?
Some tomatoes.
We're going to add some of the tomatoes. We're using grape tomatoes again, like I said before. You can either use them whole or you can cut them in half. I like them whole just because it gives a little bit more crunch. So we're going to add those in. All right. Does it look yummy? And we're going to stir all of those together. See how that looks? Doesn't that look yummy? All right. People tend to cook their mushrooms too much and they get them really, really soggy, I would say the word would be. Yes, ma'am.
What is this?
This is creme fraiche. We're going to be adding that in just a little bit, okay? So we've got our tomatoes and our mushrooms, and look how pretty that looks. All right? So the next thing we're going to add in is, what do you think?
Chicken?
Chicken. There you go. You want to hand me the chicken? All right. Thank you. So we're going to add the chicken in. We've diced up the chicken. This is about 2 breasts worth of chicken that, I'll be honest with you, I bought a rotisserie chicken and cut off the breast. You can do that, or you can roast your own up. Cooking doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be a lot of labor. It has to be a lot of love, though. So whichever makes it easier for you, just do it. You know, there's no rhyme or reason or perfection to cooking. Of course, unless Gordon Ramsay is judging you, then maybe you're getting some really serious judgment about what you're using. All right, so how's that look, Emma?
Good.
It looks delicious, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right, we've got our pasta cooking, we've got this cooking, Now,
everything is cooking and being all
everything is
boiled
cooking.
and yummy.
Everything is cooking nice and yummy. So we're going to let that cook for a few minutes. We're going to let the pasta boil, and when we come back, we're going to put it all together, and you're going to get to be my taste tester. How about that? All right? So we'll be back in just a couple minutes. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Welcome back to Neighbors Cooking. I've had such a good time having Emma here cooking with us tonight, and we're going to put everything together, and then we're going to let Emma taste test and see exactly how I did on making this pasta, and I hope you'll all enjoy it. Emma, you ready? All right. So we still have a couple of things left to do here on the stove. We've been cooking our tomatoes and mushrooms and red peppers, and we're going to add back in the zucchini that we started with earlier. Add that back in. We're going to go ahead and add in our reduced chicken stock, some Italian seasoning to taste. We're going to stir that all together. While that simmers up a little bit, we're going to take our pasta that we've been cooking and we're going to go ahead and drain it. All right, there we go. We're going to bring back the bowl that we were using so we can put this all together and everybody can enjoy watching us do it. So Emma, I think you're going to like this pasta as much as any pasta you've ever had. All right? So we've taken our drained penne pasta. We're going to add in the lemon juice to it. I'm going to stir that around a little bit. All right, Emma, we're then going to take all of our ingredients that we just made. We're going to mix those into it. Does that look good? I bet you're going to love this. All right, and we're going to mix that. Look at how delicious that looks. All the colors. All right. We're going to add our creme fraiche. Stir that into it. So we get a nice creamy texture on all the pasta. Does that look good? It does, doesn't it? The last thing we're going to add, you want to add this in for me? This is Parmesan cheese. So add most of it. Go ahead. There you go. All right. I'm going to save a little for the end. I'm going to mix that together. Yum. You like Parmesan cheese? Yeah? All right. And we're going to plate some up for Emma to try. Kind of risky. She could tell me she hates it, then I'd be in a lot of trouble. All right, so Emma, we're going to add a little bit of chives on top, and we're going to add a little bit of the lemon zest. There we go. That's our completed dish. Ultimately, it's about taste, so I'm going to have Emma give this a taste and tell everybody what they think. Go ahead, Emma. It's hot, be sure and blow it. There you go. What do you think?
It's delicious.
It's delicious. Yay! Emma likes it, so your kids are bound to like it. I want to thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Cooking with Neighbors Cooking, and I hope to see you next time in the kitchen. We'll see you soon.